What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. I'm happy to have you here. This video is all about being a best friend to yourself. This is a topic I thought about a few weeks ago, and I had written down some notes, and then I completely just forgot all about the video, didn't finish it out, and so now I'm revisiting it. I'm trying to go back through some of the things that I had wanted to talk about but then didn't for whatever reason, and just kind of clean that up a little bit. So that's the topic that we're talking about today. Think about why your best friend is your best friend. You like talking to them, you like listening to them, they're there for you, you like being in their presence, you like hearing what they have to say, you get to laugh with them, you get to cry with them, they understand you, they support you, they cheer you on, they're there with you even when times are tough, they're there to encourage you and to uplift you, they're there to tell you the truth. And when you think about all of these different qualities in a best friend, you need to be doing that same exact thing to yourself and for yourself. You need to be your best friend as well. You need to be the one that is there to immediately pick yourself up when you're feeling down, to speak life over yourself, to encourage yourself, to tell yourself that you can do it, to be there when times are good and to celebrate your small wins or your big wins or whatever, just to celebrate yourself, and to also be there when times might not be so great and you need a little bit of encouragement and you need a pick me up. You can be that for yourself. It doesn't always have to be an outside source, and it's not always going to be an outside source. Sometimes people are not going to be available for you in the moment that you need a pick-me-up or a celebration, and so you have to learn how to be that for yourself. So that's what we're talking about in this video. Oh, I'm zoning out. I feel like I said the same stuff over and over. I hate these videos sometimes. Okay, let's go ahead and throw that out, because already I just said I need to speak life, and here we are not doing that because we're getting frustrated, feeling like I keep saying the same stuff over and over and feeling like I'm not doing that great with this channel. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and practice what I preach and tell myself that I'm doing fine. I'm gonna tell myself that I got this, that I am capable of improving. It does not have to be perfect every single time I turn on this camera. It's not going to be perfect. That's okay. All I have to do is continue to show up and show up and show up each and every time, and trust that as I do that, I am improving. Sometimes I feel like I can't see the improvements, so therefore I'm speaking down on what I'm doing. But there's gonna come a time where I'm gonna look back from where I started. I'm gonna look at the middle, the whole journey, and then I'm gonna be like, wow, I have really improved. I have done so much better. I am much further than I ever imagined that I would be. And so already right here, this is just an example of what it would look like for me to now be my own best friend. Because in a moment where I get frustrated filming this video and feel like, you know what, why am I doing this? I'm so sick of this channel. I can stop and be a best friend to myself right there when I need it and say, you know what, hold up now, let's not do too much. You're doing so much better than you ever could have imagined that you would be doing. This time last year, you weren't even doing what you were supposed to be doing. You weren't even doing this channel. So give yourself some grace, pat yourself on the back, be proud of what you've accomplished this year. Be proud that you can even sit right here, turn this camera on, and get to talking. That's more than you could say for what you did last year. You were too afraid last year to do it, but look at you now. You've been able to overcome something that you didn't even think that you were going to be able to overcome. And just being able to speak life into myself right now, I think that is really, this video kind of just went in the direction of actually showing it and seeing what that looks like for me, at least in a moment where I get irritated and I get annoyed and I start downing myself and saying that I can't do it. Instead, I can switch that up and say, you know what, girl, just go for it anyway. And here we are. But anyways, back to the video, back to what we were trying to talk about. I had a little moment where I actually had to be a best friend to myself and pick myself up and push myself forward and tell myself that I could do it, even when I felt like I couldn't do it. And so now let's get back into talking about what we were talking about. So when we think about a best friend and how they tell you the truth, I want to emphasize and be very clear on what I mean by truth. I don't mean like what your present circumstances say about your situation. I'm not talking about whatever reality you might be experiencing, because your present circumstances might be that you're broke, that you don't have the resources, you don't have the abilities or the skills, you're not capable of doing it. That might be your current reality, but the truth is that even though you don't feel qualified for the job, God qualifies you for the job. Even though you don't feel capable of doing this because you didn't go to school for it, you didn't study for this specifically, you didn't have the resources, you didn't have the finances, the backing, the support, you didn't have all of those things. Even with all of that, you are still capable because you are still blessed. You are still covered. You are still protected. You are still chosen. Those are the truths that you have to speak over yourself, that God chose you for such a time as this. He gave you something that only you possess and that only you can deliver into this earth. That is the truth that you have to continue to speak over yourself. That way you can continue to show up, you can continue to pour out, you can continue to be all that you were intended to be, even when you feel like there's no room for you, even when you feel like you can't do it, even when you feel like it's not working, even when you feel like you're not capable. You can still show up anyway because you are reminding yourself of the truth that you were chosen for such a time as this. God is pouring out blessings over your life even when you cannot see them. And everything that you need to be successful is already on the inside of you. Even if you don't have the skills yet, you have the ability to learn. So everything that you need is already within you. God created the heavens and the earth, and then everything that he created after that was created from things that he was already created. Like creating man from the ground. The ground was already created when he created the heavens and the earth. And so the same way that he created you, he put things in you. So you already have it. And even if you haven't met that version of yourself yet, even if you haven't tapped into some of those creative components of yourself that you have not yet discovered, it's in you. Just because you haven't experienced it yet doesn't mean that you don't have it in you. You just have to learn how to tap into it. You just have to learn how to call it forward. Speak life over yourself in such a way that says, you know what? I might not have been able to do this channel before, but I'm doing it now. And it might not always be the way that I want it to be, but it's better than it was before. And I'm improving, and I'm continuing to show up, and I'm pouring into it, and I'm praying over it. I'm covering it. I'm asking that God would use it in such a way that was more than what I could do on my own. You just have to put in the work, do the best that you can, and let God take it from there. Don't speak defeat over yourself. Speak victory. Tell yourself that you already have it in you. Tell yourself that you can do this. Pour into yourself as much as you possibly can. The same way that you would speak to your best friend and tell him or her that they got this and that they're able to do this and that you believe in them, you have to tell yourself that too. Because there is a chance that maybe you hear it from other people, but you might not hear it from yourself, or at least as much as you should hear it from yourself. You should be speaking life over yourself more than anybody else is doing it for you. You should hear the encouragement and the uplifting from yourself more than anybody else. Speak to yourself like somebody that you love, or speak to yourself the way that you would want somebody else to speak to the person that you love. Speak to yourself in a way that's gentle, it's kind, it's uplifting, it's motivating. Be supportive. Be honest. I'm not saying you have to completely like baby yourself, but you can still be honest in such a way that is gentle. It's comforting and it's compassionate instead of condemning and harsh, Take moments to have some check-ins with yourself. Be aware of what it is that you're feeling, what it is that you need, and then do all that you can to show up for yourself in that way. Think to yourself, what is it that I would want somebody to say to me in this moment? And then say that. Like if you're feeling down, if you're not feeling beautiful and you would want somebody in that moment to tell you that you are beautiful, tell yourself that. If you are feeling like you are not capable, you are not chosen, you are not good enough for something, and you want to hear somebody say you are good enough, you are more than enough, you are able to do this, then tell yourself that very thing. And the more you speak it, you will begin to believe it. So even if you don't believe it in that moment, keep speaking it anyway until you believe it. Because sometimes you really have to talk yourself out of a slump. Tell yourself, I can do this. I have what it takes. I am deserving of a blessing. The year is not over. God can still make something shake before the year is over. Because I think definitely you need to be a best friend to yourself 365 days of the year, all of the time. But I think also, because sometimes it can be very easy once the end of the year starts rolling around to kind of get down on yourself a little bit, especially if you feel like you had all these goals and all these plans for the year, and here we are creeping up on the end of the year and things have not gotten done. I think sometimes that can be a dangerous time for people if you don't stop and give yourself some grace and be a good friend to yourself. I think that's another reason why I really wanted to talk about this now, because it's not too late. Here we are approaching the end of the year, the last month of the year. There could be people who are like, you know what, this year was great. I accomplished so much and I don't want anything else out of this year. It was everything that I needed and more. And then you might have some people who are like, you know what, we'll try again next year. Maybe this just wasn't my year to be successful and get the things accomplished that I wanted to get accomplished. But that's when being your best friend, that's when that all comes into play, and you can tell yourself that the year is not over. And I'm gonna be saying that all the way up until the end of the year. The year is not over. There is still time. There is still opportunities on the table. There are still things that God can do in and through your life. And it's not to say that like you have all the time in the world and to be naive about that and just say, you know what, I have all the time. I can just procrastinate. I can just wait. I can put this off. It's not about that, but it's more so just getting yourself out of the slump when you feel like I've wasted too much time. I don't have time anymore. You have not run out of time. If you are still here, you are able to still see so much happen out of your life and out of this year. So it's just a reminder to yourself to not get discouraged and to not take yourself out of the game, because it's not over. So as we enter into this last month of this year, I really do encourage you to be a best friend to yourself. Go throughout this next month feeling that you are supported, because you are there encouraging yourself, picking yourself up when times are down, and then celebrating yourself when times are up. Being that best friend that you would be to somebody else, be that to yourself. It's not to say completely get rid of your best friends. We're not talking about that either, because still you will have them as well to lean on and to be there, but also be that to yourself. So that's the challenge that I have for myself and also for you, is to be a best friend to yourself. Uplift yourself, speak life over yourself, motivate yourself, encourage yourself, have compassion with yourself, and let yourself know that this year can still turn around. If it hasn't been the best, that's okay, but just tell yourself that everything is going to work out in the end. Alrighty y'all, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.